Buffer overflow is an abnormality in which a computer program during the time of recording information to buffer overflows its ability, or the buffer confines and ultimately ruptures into other buffers and results in corrupted data, or it can rewrite the lawful data that is displayed. Privilege escalation is a cyber attack approach in which the attacker has acquired unauthorized access to greater privileges by exploiting security deficiencies and vulnerabilities in the organization's system. Privilege escalation strives to upgrade accessibility through exploiting application flaws, misconfigurations, inadequate access controls, and human error. In most instances, an attack using the penetration method will not be sufficient in garnering the necessary level of access needed to access data. When this happens, the attacks are not left with many options, so they fall back on privilege escalations to obtain greater access to networks, resources, and sensitive data. Rootkits are comparable to the kind of malware program that allows cybercriminals to acquire access and penetrate data from devices while being undetectable. Rootkits, veils, software toolboxes geared towards infecting computers provide the attacks with remote control and can stay hidden for an extended period. Consequently, rootkits are more challenging to uncover and eliminate and can be applied often to listen in on users and deploy DDoS attacks, software that can incapacitate security software, obtain banking and credit card credentials, and thief passwords and keystroke loggers. There are approximately 5 rootkits, and they are as follows: firmware rootkits, bootloader rootkits, memory rootkit, application rootkit, kernel mode rootkit. A Trojan is defined as a kind of malign software or code that can hijack the user's computer. Trojans were developed to induce harm, disturb, steal, or impose harmful actions and outcomes to the user's data or network. The Trojan will present itself as a genuine application or as a file that ends up fooling the user. Backdoor is defined as any technique that permits hackers, government, IT professionals, etc., to remotely access the user's device without proper authorization and without the user's knowledge. The hackers typically will install backdoors onto a user's device through malware, and that is done by the hacker exploiting the user's software vulnerabilities. Hackers use backdoors for the following: surveillance, data theft, crypto theft, sabotage, and malware attacks. A virus is defined as a type of malware that contaminates other applications and are only available to function when the applications are functioning. Other viruses and malware are advantageously used but are different. A virus that takes place on a computer is a kind of malware. However, most malware cannot be defined as a virus. Some examples of viruses are Trojans and ransomware. Return-oriented programming is an effective method that is applied to resist standard exploit prevention policies. Return-oriented program can be used to bypass address space layout randomization, also known as ASLR, and data execution prevention, also known as DEP. When applying return-oriented programming, the attacker will utilize their administrations concerning the stack just before the return from a function to direct code execution to an additional place within the program. Except for highly impervious binaries, the attackers are able to locate a part of the code that is placed in a specific location and is executable. Common social engineering attacks are when an attacker can trick the user into sharing their personal information. Some common social engineering attacks include phishing, which includes emails, phone calls, and SMS or text. And those are used to trick the users into downloading contaminated links and files that trick the user into disclosing some of their personal passwords or account user information. Another social engineer attack is whaling. C-suite executives are targeted with customized attacks as the attacker will perform whaling after obtaining research about the user. Ultimately, the attacker will try to obtain entry to the device or personal information. The third one is quid pro quo, and this is when the criminals offer and promise something to the user, such as money, software, and or gift cards.